What happened here on January 3, 1972? This is 8213 West Summerdale Avenue in the Norridge subdivision of Chicago, Illinois. On the property is a well-maintained upper-middle-class suburban home with 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a 2-car garage, and a full basement. It was built in 1986. The original house on the property, the House of Horrors, with 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, a 2-car garage, and a crawl space, was torn down in 1979 after 29 bodies were removed from under and around the home. The first body being buried was 16-year-old Timothy McCoy on January 3, 1972. The man that tortured, raped, killed, and created this temporary graveyard was successful construction contractor, community activist, and part-time clown John Wayne Gacy, who should have been serving a 10-year prison sentence at the time. Like most of his victims, Gacy invited 16-year-old Tim McCoy to his house. He met McCoy the previous day at a Greyhound bus station at 161 North Clark Street in Chicago. McCoy stayed the night at Gacy's house, expecting Gacy to take him back to the bus station in the morning so he could continue his way home to Nebraska. However, Gacy says that when he woke up the next morning, McCoy was standing over him with a knife. Gacy says he then defended himself and in the struggle killed McCoy. He then went to the kitchen and realized McCoy was only holding the knife as he was preparing breakfast for the two of them. This wasn't the first time Gacy had a violent encounter. 5 years earlier in 1967, Gacy had sexually assaulted a 15-year-old boy in Des Moines, Iowa. He was indicted, and in the following 5 months in 1968, he was charged with witness intimidation after paying another teenager to mace and beat his accuser, sent to a psychiatric hospital, clinically diagnosed as a sociopath, received the 10 years prison sentence for the sexual assault, and on the same day, December 3, 1968, his wife filed for divorce. One might assume the public would be safe from John Gacy until December 3, 1978. However, he managed to assault, torture, and kill young men in this house over those 10 years, because even though the judge's sentence would keep Gacy in jail until 1978, or 120 months, he was released on parole in June 1970 after serving only 18 months in prison. With no rehab or remorse, he continued his assaults. Twice in 1971, he was charged with aggravated sex crimes, but in both cases, charges were dropped. And with the changes having been dropped, the Iowa Board of Parole was unaware of these instances and released Gacy from parole. Shortly after, he moved to Chicago, where on January 3, 1972, he murdered Tim McCoy. It would be another 3.5 years before Gacy killed a second time and became a murder suspect for the first time, but no charges were filed. So even after years of suspicion of murders and police reports filed by rape and torture victims that he did release, Gacy managed over another 3.5 years to kill 31 more boys and young men, mostly between the ages of 15 and 21. Almost all while he should have been in prison. By the time he was arrested for murder, he had killed 33 times. Of his 33 victims between January 1972 and December 1978, 26 were buried in the crawl space under the house at 8213 West Summerdale Avenue, including first victim and body number 9, Tim McCoy, on January 3, 1972. If you would like to see more What Happened Here videos, please support the channel by liking and sharing the video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you. Credits and links to more information are in the description.